20 years in the business, serving the Morrisville community. What has it taught me? I specialize in working with the 50 plus population. I got to tell you, really, since I started over 26, almost 30 years since I started, there's been a lot that's changed. I'm going to share with you those tips and tools and add value to you right now. So number one, the biggest thing that's changed that I've seen as of late is there's a proliferation or a major increase in replacement surgeries. I'm not saying that's good, I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm telling you this, is that whether it's a knee replacement, whether it's hip replacement, whether it's fusions, spinal fusions of some sort, surgeries are becoming very common. When I first started in the industry back in the late 90s, hip replacement was still becoming popular, and it was not perfected. There was more complications. You can look it up statistically. There was more complications in the 90s of doing hip replacements. Now, surgeons are fantastic at doing hips and knees and literally getting people standing like within 24 hours. It's incredible how quickly these surgeries are done. But the punchline is bodies still need to regain proper movement. And if it was a repetitive injury over time, you replace the part, say you replace the hip, you haven't re-educated the muscles around the hip to work properly. And it does, just because you change a replacement part doesn't fix the biomechanics. It may help, especially if you're bone on bone, but the retraining becomes even more important. So if you're in the camp where you've had a replacement part, it is even more important that you get the right person guiding you and regaining balance. So also, so you don't wear the other side out. That's really important. But replacement parts are very, very common. We specialize in working with clients with replacement parts and working on balancing them, especially if they're in the 50 plus population. Second thing that I see that's probably as significant as the first in the last 20 plus years of working in the industry is that when I started, almost everybody could get to the floor. And I'm saying clients that were in their 80s, that were either using a walker or a wheelchair, we could still get them to the floor and then do floor exercises to work on their posture and their biomechanics and then get them back up. Anyway, fast forward to 2026, currently right now, there's as many as 20% of the clients that come in our doors that cannot get to the floor. That is a big problem. Now, I'm not saying that to, as the young kids would say, throw shade or take a shot at you. I'm saying that because if you fall, if you can't get up and you fall and you're by yourself, you're in trouble, or you don't have the capacity to get up. So this is something that even if you cannot get to the floor, we actually focus on training you to teach you transitions to get you comfortable to transition to a seat, to transition to the floor, from the floor to the seat to stand. We actually will help coach you up in empowering you so you can transition up and down, because this is a very, very important skill. And as our bodies are not able to transition to the floor, we get tighter in our hips, we get tighter really in our whole body. And it's a great way to actually maintain a certain level of strength if you actually can control your body down to a chair, down to the floor, and then through your legs, range of motion, strength, back up to the chair, back up to standing. Very important skill set. Okay, third thing that I've seen change in the last 20 years is stomach surgeries for people that were trying to lose, anywhere from 50, typically 75 pounds to as much as 250 pounds. People were having bariatric surgery. So it's different types of stomach surgeries which would help weight loss. And I've worked with surgeons that have done the surgery in terms of help some of their patients, many through the years, and this surgery was very common. Bariatric surgery, I haven't heard anybody even mention it as far as having procedures in years. Now, what I'm hearing, and this is all, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing with actual clients that I'm working with on a day-to-day. Overwhelming number of people are talking about GLP-1s now. Whether that's for weight loss, whether that's for diabetes, whether that's for a number of different things that they're treating people for, but GLP-1s are appearing to be here to stay, and they come with a second piece, which is the fourth thing that I would say is a really important thing I've seen and something to focus on in the last 20 years is we see muscle loss. Okay, so we're seeing drastic muscle loss more than we've ever seen before in the last couple years. Why would that be? When we're aging over 40, 50, 60, we increase the speed of losing muscle. It happens literally like naturally. As we age, we lose muscle. Now there's ways to combat that through strength training, through the right type of protein intake. Those things can help, but we're losing muscle as we age. Now, what we've seen though is with GLP-1s, there's an increase in muscle loss. So what I would say is, it is not an option. You have to be hitting your protein intake. You have to be lifting weights. And I would say those two things are so important because, again, what I've seen day in, day out is people will get on GLP-1s and then they will drastically cut their calorie consumption to an unhealthy level below what their target calorie count should be. And then you can fall in the camp of being malnourished and you are losing weight, you're losing fat, you're losing muscle, you could be losing tissue. And that is not good. That is not good in terms of the longevity piece. So we definitely want to make sure you're strength training. If you're on GLP-1s, we want to make sure your diet is sound, make sure you're getting enough protein. And it's really, really important. And it's not like, I get it. It's not of that. It's like, it's mission critical because the muscle loss we've seen is actually pretty drastic. And the drugs that they have are only going to get better. The GLP-1s and the next versions are only going to get better. So I think the cool thing and the last thing I'll close this video out is that people realize now strength training is important. I'll close with this, is that it's cool to see that if people in their 20s, man, woman, see that weight training is important. Young, old, weight training is important. And it becomes probably more important as we lose muscle as we age. It probably becomes even more important, but it's important if you're younger to build that base. And then as you get older, it's about maintenance. It's about maintaining your muscle mass, maybe building it a little bit, but maintaining what you have and not losing it as you age. Those are the key components. So those are the 5 trends I've seen over the last 20 years. We specialize in working with 50 plus population, customizing the strength training so it's lower impact, so it's right for you. We work on posture, so making sure that you're stacking really well, making sure you have proper joint range of motion, and then also adjusting workouts around your needs. If you've had a hip replacement, you've had a replacement part, if you haven't lifted weights, if you don't have the ability to get to the floor, if you've seen drastic muscle loss, we can help you with all these things. All of these things are really our specialty in the 50 plus population. So that's what I've noticed in the last 20 years. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video.